talk tonight, I'm going to talk about how do you maintain cleaning up that river. And that's the most difficult part of this journey, is cleansing the body, removing the waste, and getting it out of your body. The secret to health. And there's roughly 100 trillion cells in the body. That's a big number, and I don't know who counts those things. They say there's 10,000 part calcium outside the cell to 1 part inside. There's 10 trillion cells. But for a cell to function, and this is very important, for a cell to function properly, it needs a balance of potassium and sodium. That's referred to as a K factor. At the end of this day, you should have eaten 4 times more potassium than sodium by weight. Dr. Patrick Quillen, in his book Cancer and Nutrition, said the average American needs 4 times more sodium than potassium. And I've read that in a lot of books. I got most of my information from a book written in 1986 by Dr. Richard Moore after 30 years of research. And this basically was new material and how it functions within the body in his book called The K Factor. Potassium, 95% should be inside the cell, and the sodium should be outside the cell. If it's balanced properly, it will rotate 300 times a second. Can you imagine 100 trillion cells, that much movement, 300 times a second? We're wonderfully made. If it's functioning properly, this is referred to as a sodium pump. It produces little less than 1/10 volt of electricity per cell. If you have 100 trillion cells, with each with about a 1/10 volt of electricity, you have tremendous energy. If this energy, this battery, is just like your car, if you go out and turn the key and the battery's dead, you have to get a jump start. If your cells, this starts shutting down, then you get a jump start. You take a drug, and the doctors do an exceptionally good job. They know what drug your body needs, and they can give you that drug. But you don't have to go get that drug if you'll take care of the problems to start with. This is a voltage gate. It's run by the battery. This controls calcium. If calcium leaks back into this cell, it totally disrupts the cell. It causes muscle spasms. It can cause brain cells to be damaged. It can destroy the frontal lobe. NutraSweet is one of those that the aspartame affects the calcium gate. There's a neat book on the market by Dr. Richard Blaylock on Excito for excited toxins and how glutamate, aspartame, and hydrolyzed vegetables can destroy the frontal lobe and probably cause Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and ALS, and seizures. And he's a neurosurgeon, and he just wrote the book. His dad died with Parkinson disease, so he started a research on it, and it's a neat book if you want to see how those affect the calcium gate and destroy brain cells and nerve cells. But every time I bend my arm, calcium has to leak in the muscles, in the muscle that I want to flex. When calcium leaks in, the muscle contracts. The only thing a muscle can do is contract and release. That's the only thing it can do. If calcium leaks in, it contracts. If you want to release it, you should force the calcium out, and it will release. If I do this, how many adjustments did my body make for me to do this? Calcium had to go in and out at the right time. It's amazing. Roughly 6 trillion reactions a second in your body if you're balanced. That's a big number too, isn't it? This is an amino acid gate. This is a voltage gate. These little dots in here are factories. They're called ribosomes. They collect amino acids and make enzymes and hormones. You do not have to take a digestive enzyme. Your body will produce it if you can pump the amino acids into the factory. If you're making brick and you can't get the right material in, you don't come out with brick, do you? People can't digest their food. The sodium pump starts shutting down. The voltage gate starts shutting down, and your body cannot produce it. The DNA can't tell that ribosome, hey, give me some digestive enzymes to get this guy's putting all kind of junk in. Let's kick it out of there. But you're not eating right to balance that. And this is an acid gate. It pumps the waste from the cell. Now, these are all controlled by the sodium-potassium balance. Where do you get your sodium-potassium? Every natural food God put on the face of the earth that's edible and doesn't make you sick is high in potassium, low in sodium. You think that happened by accident? Now, lentils are 900 part potassium, 1 part sodium. Daniel ate lentils, and he outperformed the king's men. A potato is 600 to 4. Bananas 400 to 4. The lowest natural food I can find is a plum. It's 155 to 4. If you ate only natural foods, you wouldn't have a problem with sodium potassium, and your body would function properly. Every fast, processed, and canned food, you ever heard of those? Have reversed the sodium potassium balance.